Good evening, dear friends. I am Dr. Mukesh Parekh from Cosmos. Today I have come up with a very important aspect which is asked in the NET examination in the area of criticism and theory. And today's topic is queer theory. Queer theory problematizes the binaries of sexual politics. These binaries are male-female, masculine-feminine, heterosexual, homosexual, etc. Queer theory argues that these binaries establish a hierarchy and as a consequence reinforce the notion of the minorities as abnormal and inferior. For example, homosexual desire as inferior to heterosexual desire, as acts of femininity are inferior to acts of masculinity. Now it is very important to understand, because some of you might not be knowing that what is the exact meaning of queer. The word has gained currency in 1990s after the publication of Judith Butler's books and before them also Sedgwick's books. Today commonly a person with non-normative sexuality is termed as queer, and in this area we can take lesbians, gays, transsexuals and bisexuals. From examination point of view, this topic is very important these days because this topic comes in the areas of subaltern studies. Subalterns, as you all know, that people who are either minorities or they don't exercise or they don't enjoy, the basic rights. So let us come back to the topic queer theory. Queer theory is a call to transgress conventional understandings of gender and sexuality. It disrupts the boundary that separates heterosexuality from homosexuality. Queer theorists argue that the heterosexual-homosexual division must be challenged to open space for the multiple identities, embodiments and discourses to address the issues and rights of those who are outside these binaries. Now, I have said outside these binaries because the world has so constructed that we consider that there are only certain structures, certain basics which cannot be challenged. For example, we say that the sexuality as such is only between either male or female. But after 1990s, we have come up with certain writers who have challenged these notions, and queer theory addresses these writers and their theories. They understand that gender is a fluid, it is a spectrum. Having said this, let me come back to the examination point of view, that from NET point of view, what are the major issues and kind of technical terms or say books which are important from exam point of view. Important critics and theorists and their works in this category are: number one is Michel Foucault. Michel Foucault's book, The History of Sexuality, Volume 1, and in the introduction of this particular book, we come across all the major important intellectual points where we can understand that how he argues that how can gender be a fluid. Queer theory was introduced in 1990 with Eve Sedgwick. She published several books in this field like Between Men, English Literature and Male Homosocial Desire. Second one is Epistemology of the Closet. And the third important book is Tendencies. These three books are considered to be the landmark today in the field of queer theory. Another important name which has already been asked in our NET examination, and that is Judith Butler. She has revolutionized the debate in this field. Her famous books are Gender Trouble, Feminine and the Subversion of Identity. Second book is Bodies That Matter, on discursive limits of sex. She is known for developing her theory of gender performability. I would like to speak some lines on this. Gender performability is a phenomenon where she explains that how can we decide whether a male is a male or a female is a female until and unless that person does not perform her or his sexuality. It means in this concept of performability, action is more important than the theoretical part and the biological construct of the gender. Third important writer is Lee Edelman. His important book is Homographies, Essays in Gay Literature and Cultural Theory. And second important book is No Future, Queer Theory and Death Drive. The topic is incomplete if I don't touch the studies of queer theory in India. Friends, the most important book in this category written by Indians is Ruth Vanita and Salim Kidwai's famous book, Same-Sex Love in India, Readings from Literature and History. Another important writer is R. Raja Rao. His most famous book is Criminal Love, Queer Theory. He is also known for the famous book, the famous film Bomb Gay. Another important writer in this category from India, settled in Canada now, Suniti Namjoshi. Though she has been also writing about feminism, but in between she has also been questioning the concept of gender in her books, Feminist Fables. Second one is the Blue Donkey Fables. And the third one is a collection of poems, Sycorax, New Fables and Poems. Thank you very much.